Everybody, greetings and welcome to Kinesiology 3346. I'm your instructor, Dr. Toby Brooks. Looking forward to a great semester with you. I know this is probably not what any of you had in mind when you set off to go to college at Texas Tech, and when you set off to be a kinesiology major. If you're like me, you learn with your hands, you learn through movement. And if nothing else, Corona has force all of us outside of that comfort zone, right? So, I want to take some time today to talk a little bit about the course. If you've never taken an online course before, an asynchronous one at least, this may be a little new for you. But the good news is, as much as COVID sucks, it's helped us learn how to do things like this a lot better. So, hopefully, you're a little bit more familiar with this medium than students in the past have been. And I'm really excited to get rolling on another semester. My background, I've been an athletic trainer and a strength conditioning specialist for the better part of 20 years. I've worked at the professional, collegiate, high school levels as an AT and as a strength specialist. And regardless of my clinical experiences, I've always kind of come back to teaching. I love to teach. My PhD is actually in teaching with a minor in kinesiology. And this content in particular is one of the things that I love to teach the most. So I hope you're in for a treat. This will be, uh, my hope is at least, this will be your opportunity to take some of your anatomical knowledge and start to apply it in a way that makes sense, to start to understand how the anatomy influences movement and how you can become a better coach, a better clinician based on your application of anatomy, not just your knowledge of it. So I want to take some time to look at the syllabus, navigate around the course website, and hopefully answer questions you have before you need to ask. That said, I'm always available via email. I usually try to respond to that within a day or two at the longest. I try not to check email during the weekends. So if you have questions, let me excuse me, let me know early. So the course syllabus is located right here. It's a Word doc for you to download. Lots of standard policies and such, but really the part you want to look at is what are we doing for grades and what are we doing in terms of course agenda. So most weeks we will have what I refer to as a threaded discussion. There are 10 of those, so you'll notice not every week has a threaded discussion. So if you don't see that assignment, don't panic. Go to the syllabus first and make sure you had one assigned. On a few occasions, I have been known to not let those be visible. So those are built in, but sometimes for whatever reason, they're not clicked viewable to students. So if something shows up on the syllabus as due and you don't see it, let me know and I'll get that fixed as soon as possible. But I try my very best to make sure you don't have to make those kinds of emails. So those are worth 5 points apiece. I want you to take some time to answer those. You don't have to answer every other student's post, but if we're really going to have good discussion in this class, you're going to want to comment on one another's posts. I expect every one of you to post at least a 4 or 5 sentence answer to every question posed. But if you are so inclined, I would also encourage you to speak to one another's. We also have some multiple choice quizzes. So there's 5 of those kind of sprinkled throughout the semester. Instead of threaded discussions, there are 2 video summaries. These are vlogs that we use in our program, and you're going to record those and post them. You can, if you've got a YouTube channel, you can post it there. Just make it, I mean, if you want it to be publicly viewable, you can, but you can put that as an unlisted file, not as a hidden. If it's unlisted, I can still view it. So make sure you follow the directions on that. So there's 2 of those worth 25 points apiece. And then basically 2 tests, a midterm and a final. So 400 total points, and you've got an opportunity to do well in this course. Be sure you read through this syllabus. Nothing is a bigger pet peeve to me than when a student asks a question that I have answered for them in the syllabus. So I'll answer the one that I get most often. Never fails, every year, right before the final. Hey, Dr. Brooks, what do you offer for uh, extra credit? What can I do to get my grade up? And my answer is always there is no extra credit. You get the grade you earn. There are no surprises in this course. I never intentionally trick you. There are plenty of opportunities to earn points, even if you're not a great test taker. So please don't email me asking for me to round up your grade or to offer opportunities for bonus points. It's not going to happen. I want you to do your best to stay up throughout the semester. Even though this is an asynchronous course, you'll notice the assignments are due darn near every Friday. And that's my attempt to keep you engaged with what we're doing and keep you on pace so that we're all kind of in the same spot. If I just dumped it all out there for you to do at your own pace, then none of us are going at the same time. You don't have the opportunity to lean on one another if you've got questions. So even though we're not meeting in a classroom, even though we're not meeting in Zoom in real time, the expectation is that you keep up. And by that same token, if you start to get behind, it's really hard for you to catch back up. So use this time as your opportunity to get off on a good start. Okay. So if we look at the content of the course, what you'll see here is you're probably watching this the 20th or the 21st is my guess. So this week is short. It's a partial week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So really all you have to do is watch the first lesson and answer the first thread of discussion by Friday before midnight, at least a minute before midnight. And I try my best to put all those assignments on Fridays, just so you know you've consistently got to keep producing things. The final exam, however, does occur on a different date. So also, oh Brooks, I thought the final was on Friday too. It's not. Okay. Look at your planner, look at your syllabus, schedule that in advance. There's no excuse for a missed final unless there's a medical emergency or some sort of family emergency. Okay. So we will make our way through the textbook, which if you don't have it, I would encourage you to get it. It's one of the best anatomical kinese books, one of the most valuable books, period, that I have on my shelf. I use it from time to time, especially for teaching purposes, and it's definitely worth the price. We're going to make our way through some fundamentals of anatomical kinese in the first third of the course. Then we shift gears over into the upper extremity. And that's where we'll have our first midterm or our first exam, our midterm exam. Then we shift gears again and go to the lower extremity and spine. And then we try to apply those things into some movement analysis lessons. A new unit I'm adding this semester is the functional movement screen. We're going to take that application maybe even a little bit further. And then your final exam is due no later than May 7th. Okay. So your grade calculator here, I would encourage you to use this tool and not Blackboard. And here's why. I don't want you to get surprised. If you've got zeros in the grade book, oftentimes the calculator for Blackboard will fail to recognize that those points were due. So for instance, if you missed a quiz and it was due on the 5th and you missed it and it's worth 20 points and you've got a zero showing up for that, Blackboard doesn't know whether you earned a zero, whether or not I'm going to allow you to take and make up some points. So it just doesn't include that. So let's say you got 5 out of 5 on the first discussion, a 5 out of 5 on the second. So you're 10 out of 10, you've got a 100 in the course, and then you miss the quiz. So you're 10 out of 30, which is an F. However, the grade calculator in Blackboard oftentimes will show that as 10 out of 10. And you think you've got an awesome A when in fact you're failing the class. So this is super easy. You just punch in the score you got, and as the semester goes along, all you do is add up what you've earned, add up what's possible to that point, and then divide them. Okay, so you're going to divide the sum, divide, I'm sorry, you're going to add the points possible and divide them by the sum total of earned points. So if you've got 100 points possible, you're going to divide that by your 89, and it's going to tell you that you've got an 89 in the course. But it's based on a 400 point scale at the end, but there aren't 400 points possible right up front. So you have to kind of calculate based on what's possible. I think I made that more complicated than it needed to be. It shouldn't be, but just follow the instructions here. I think you can read through that and understand what I'm expecting of you. Okay, so that is the syllabus. The website, I'm still adding material to it. I'll probably work about a month ahead. So by the time you watch this, I probably should have the first 4 weeks populated out. And so I'll stay ahead of you enough so that you should never be looking for information. But for week 1, this gives you a zest for what you're going to see every week. So the instructions and objectives will be right up top. So do what it says and you'll be just fine. And then whatever you need in order to do these instructions is provided below that. So every week I give you the PowerPoint, if you prefer to look at that, as well as a PDF. Sometimes students would rather just use that and jot their notes as they go. And then instead of this just being you read through the PowerPoints, I give you a narrated screencast of the material that we cover for that week. Lots of students have said they prefer this method. It feels more like they're in class. I hope so. And then at the very bottom is where the assignments always live. So if you've got a threaded discussion or a quiz, it's going to be right at the bottom. Let me see if I can view this as a student. Okay, so I see week 1 here, and I see my first thread. So you'll be able to complete this assignment this week. That's all you'll have to do. Make sure you read the reading material. This will be populated out more. So yours will probably look different from this. So even though mine showed all the weeks, since I didn't have content in there, all you see so far is week 2. So I will be working ahead. That said, just because a week shows up doesn't mean you can go ahead and work ahead. I want us to stay on track week by week. So that's pretty much it. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out and contact me. I'm available at the email address or the phone number in the syllabus. Happy to answer anytime. You're not bothering me. I mean, treat this just like any other course. You're a student to me. You're not just a number. I want to get to know you to the extent I can. This is the largest online course I've ever taught with 2 sections with over 80 students altogether. But that doesn't mean that you're not important. I want to do anything I can to help you. And I'm also available in person if you want to review a test or talk to me about our athletic training program at the Health Sciences Center. Happy to do any of that. All you got to do is come across the street and come visit. I'm over in the Health Sciences Center on the 3rd floor. So hope you have a great semester, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Don't be a stranger. We will see you soon. Brooks signing out.